Hi everyone, welcome to the next video. Happy New Year everyone. It's 2025, I still can't believe it. Alright, so this will be the first video of 2025. So in last video I was saying maybe we will cover further of assembly or maybe a CVE. So I moved to the latter part, that is actually explore a CVE. There are tons of CVEs that are out there, so I thought I'll showcase something that is pretty interesting and that kind of has that wow factor as well. So while I was going through a list, I found something that happened in 2019 uh, on Log4j. It is not the Log4j bug that happened in 2021, which caused all of that ruckus. This is prior to that, 2 years back, before before all the lockdowns and things like that, I guess. So basically, the vulnerability that I'm going to be discussing is called CVE 2019-17571. Uh, so basically, it's a old version of Log4j. It's native. It has reached its end of life. Uh, so I guess most companies don't use it nowadays. So it's pretty old software, anyways. So during this video, I'm gonna, instead of going in and exploiting the bug, which I think people can do, I want to show you what really the bug is and why it's causing and things like that. So let's firstly jump into, so this, I was trying all different things out before, starting the video. Let me just open a new terminal and move back. So this is actually the package. It's It's not hard to get hold of this package. You can go to the Oracle website and log in and download it, or a package is available in GitHub as well. So this vulnerability affected Apache Log4j versions from 1.2 till 1.17, and it was patched in the next iterations, like I guess Log4j 2 or something like that. Or maybe we can just check it out here itself. Maybe they would have told about where it is patched. It's not said here. Um, so I read about it prior to recording the video. So versions after 1.2.17, 1.2.17 are pretty safe. People say to use Log4j 2 or something. So that is safe from this particular vulnerability. Okay, so now I have the Log4j package. There's a tarball, so I unzipped the tarball, and all of these things are present. But in order to build it, I had to edit few of the dependencies and things in the POM file. So basically, the POM file contains all of the build guidelines that has to be followed by Maven. We will be using Maven to build this. So I kind of added a few things. I'm just going up right now. So this here I'm just gonna talk about the initial setup. So you say if you want to be trying this out on your own, right? You would want some guidance on what all could go wrong so that you don't end up wasting your time. So main things that I changed are, you don't have these commons here. I added it because I wanted to create, um, when you are trying to exploit it, you need some of these libraries there so that it's easier to do it. Um, Rest of these can remain the same, but if you go down, particularly to Maven source plugins are all fine. Maven plugin, Maven build plugin is also fine. Yeah, so Maven site plugin was, I guess, 3.1. Here you can see uh, the version. Yes, okay, edit, why did I delete that? Escape. Yeah. Um, so if you're on Vim, you can use JKL to like move between the lines and things like that. So this was actually a version 3.1. I changed it to 3.9.1 because that was causing the build to fail a lot. And that's basically it. So I added the commons and I added the Maven site plugin to 3.9.1. I'll just show you that again just to clarify. The sad part is even after adding the commons collection, while trying to exploit the vulnerability, it's causing a lot of issues though. Hey, that is that is the reality of things. So I added these two things, commons collections and commons IO. These versions actually support Java 1.8. That's the other thing. You need to have your Java version to be sudo update alternatives config. So you use this command to say which version of Java you will be using. Um, so I'm actually running with open. Why is it at Java 11? Yeah, this is running Java 11 because I'll just close this because I don't want to change it right now. OpenJDK 8 was not directly available via apt update. So if you do sudo apt, no, update, get update, open, no, apt-get open, apt. Oh my God, I forgot that history. Get apt update. No, I don't want even that. I want just open JDK, right? Yeah, yeah. So sudo apt install open JDK. This is not even there. So I tried to install it via apt update, but I guess it's end of life, so it's not there anymore. So I had to download the OpenJDK 8 and set up the environment variables and things like that. I will leave you to do that if you want to even do this. Okay, so what's next? So what's next is what is next? Yeah, next thing to do is uh, yeah. So I'll do mvn clean install to and skip the tests because some of the tests were actually failing pretty much all the time. So I'll just do this. So this will kind of build everything. I don't have to worry about anything like that. So I'm just going to close it because I don't want to, um, spend time building the things again. Once it's built, the all of the jar files will be in your target, which is not there right now, which is really strange. But not to worry, I already have the jar file outside here as well. So log4j 1.2.17.jar. It so once you compile all of this, you will have your jar file in the target folder. So this jar file will contain all of your classes that are there in the project. Okay, moving on. Moving on to the main thing. What is the vulnerability here? Why did this have why was this even assigned a CVE? So if you go to cd source and go to main Java organization Apache log4j and in net. So even before talking about the vulnerability, you need to essentially understand what log4j is doing. Okay, essentially what's log4j doing? Log4j is actually logging uh, all of your application logs, whatever is happening throughout the application, any errors that it is happening, or any unwanted or any undefined behavior that is there. You're using Log4j to log all of those things. That is the reason why Log4j is there. But Log4j is used even more than that. Say you have a large organization or an enterprise that is there, which um, where you need to log your entire events into you cannot have your entire logs running on each system, right? You want to segregate your logs and keep it into one system. So in those scenarios, you need some kind of a remote connection as well to log your events. So that is one of the other properties of Log4j as well. The devs knew what they were building here. So here you can see names like JMS Sync, Symbol Socket Server, Socket Server, things like that. So or Telnet Appender. So these are all ways to communicate. I guess there is SMTP, Symbol Mail Transfer Protocol Appender as well. So there are multiple ways to send your logs across using Log4j. And I would say like the intention of the devs was to actually do this thing, that is collect all the logs, send the required logs to the log server. But while doing that, they kind of made a small mistake. We all make mistakes, so can't blame anyone. So this is one of the socket server program that they have. If you look at the program per se, right? Let me just put some line numbers. Okay. What file was I opening? Yeah. So if I go back to Vim and set some numbers so that we can view everything properly, right? Set number. And if you go down, you can see all the IO file operations. So they are creating sockets. We all covered this in our web server creation part. Now we will be able to understand what people are trying to do. Essentially, they are creating a server to send details along. They need multiple arguments here. That is why saying argument 0, 1, 2, and 3. And they are listening on a port. So this is basically listening on a port on a, you can give your IP address and things like that. They're asking for an INET address, that is IPv4 addresses, creating nodes, port, that's a fun, cool thing as well. Like in order for this thing to run, you need a config file, uh, you know, uh, you need a you need to define what type of a logging level, because it's basically used for logging. You need to give your logging level. Do you want your debug to be at an info level? Do you want timestamps in it? Things like that. So you can check config.properties files, Google it, and figure what all things need to be there. So this is kind of the first class that you will be getting in touch with. I'll just quit the file. And then there is another class called socketappender.java, so which is also used in a lot of logging services per se. See, they have all of these things. Guy called Dan McDonald, right at it. Sends logging objects to remote. See, that is the thing. The vulnerability here is basically or a bug class called deserialization vulnerability, where Java basically has a Java class and object concept. So you can create objects based off a class, and you can send those objects along. And these logging server, what it does in one area is that it sends logged objects along to the server, and the server will read that object and get the information from it. It's a good way to log things if you have a ton of things to if you are a developer and you need to know what is going wrong um, in your program. But attackers use it in other way by by saying, hey, what if I send something malicious which is not even not even a logging event at all. Like, what if I send something along which is not at all related to login, but can be used to do something else? Uh, right. Think about it like you writing a program to maybe read a file, create an object of it, and serialize that into a binary and send it along. That is basically what happens when you're deserializing it. When you're deserializing, basically you're trying to read that class over there, and you're when you're reading that class, or when you're running that class, that if that class is asking the program, if the class is basically trying to read a file in the system, it will read the file or write a file or whatever it has to do, it will do there. So this is kind of the starting area where the bug is happening. You can see right here the author has written send logging event objects to a remote. I'll put in the number as well so that you can see better. In line 34, the author has specifically said that send objects to a remote log server, usually at link socket node. That is the next thing. That is the next file that we are going to look at. So he has written a lot of other things. What's happening here? Then finally the program. I would suggest people to read these things. It's a good way to know how to write uh, code well and comment things well as well. So they have written it very, very well. I like to read these things at times. Anyways, connection address port, things like that. They're trying to connect to a host. Let's go to, so once socket appender gets an object, gets the object, it will send it to socket node. So if you read socket node and you set number, right? If you go down, um, yeah, reads logging event object sent from the remote. See, it is reading the object. That is a problem. It is actually, deserializing the object. It is deserializing the object that is there, and it is running it. And while running, it's gonna cause like whatever the class is supposed to do, it will do that. But the fundamental thing that is there is that you cannot load any classes that are not already there. So say if you created a random thing out of the blue and you're sending it, you'll just find a class not found exception. You need something, you need to create, you need to have a class which is already used by the compiled program. Only then will it work. See, there are always roadblocks. It's not like, hey, you can run any class that you want. It would have been so easy. Yeah, but it doesn't. Mm, yeah, so what is the vulnerability here? Let's go down. Let's go down. So there is a function called void run. It's logging the event and it's doing a remote logging. That is what all of this is used for. They try that and they do like OIS is not equal to null. So if you see go over there, like OIS is they are taking in an object input stream. So it's trying to get uh, you know trying to get information from the socket. How can I push it? Escape quit push it. Vim socket node. Yeah. It's trying to get a socket input stream, and after that, it is passing it into the new object stream. It's trying to get the input stream and passing and creating an object out of it, and it is being stored in this variable called uh, called OAS line number 56. Line number 57, 56 and 57 is creating an object there. Once that is done, if you go over here, they're just checking if if the object is not null, and creating an infinite loop where event equal to logging event or ois.read object. So they are actually reading the object without doing any checks whatsoever. Um, that is kind of the problem here. If they would have done a check here to see if that object is part of any of the existing jar or something, then it would have been pretty fine. But uh, they are not doing any of that. They are just directly reading the object. Then they are performing things on, get logger event dot get logger name. They're trying to get the name of the logging and things like that. But the vulnerability here is that you can send your own object and it will basically take it and deserialize it. That's it. That is the line that causes all of the mayhem. Um, Now the question is, how do I show you all of these things? Okay, I think I have already set up some things. Oh, damn. Okay, no worries. Since that jar is not there, right? I guess we'll have to use this jar. See, now it's running on port 1337. It's waiting for connection. I just compiled socket server. I'll show you that as well. What's the point if I don't show that? Yeah. So I checked the socket server program. So it's basically creating a server, right? So I'm just compiling that program using the log4j jar. So it has access to all of the libraries that's there in log4j 1.2.17. And I'm so if you do Java C, you do Java C to compile it. Yes, minus CP is for specifying the class path, and I'm running the socket server. And this won't run because the target, you don't have anything here. But if I do this, it will run. But for the sake of it, I am not running it. I'll just show you how everything works. Okay, cool. So now we are listening to 1337. I'm telling you this is not gonna cause a code execution. But okay, yeah. So you have things like ysoserial to create your own personalized serialized payloads. So it's like, I'm trying to create a test file in, I'll do collections one because I told you like I imported collections as well. So now if I do all of that and I know the service is running on 1337 and I send that, if you go back, okay, where is it? Control shift, control function, page up, page up, page up. Yeah, see, it actually caused an exception, unexpected exception. Let's read the logs and understand what's happening here. See, uh, socket server starting a new socket node, created a new node. It's waiting for a connection. And if you remember the web server program we did, we use fork to create multiple threads. And same thing in Log4j, they are using forking mechanism to create multiple threads. So when and the initial connection that we did right now is one of the threads. See, now the class change. Error is in the socket node class. It there's an unexpected exception. They are closing that thread. It's not closing the entire thing. It's closing that thread. It's a null pointer exception. Why is that happening? Sun reflect annotations, invoke handler, read object. It's trying to read an object. It's trying to read an object that we have serialized and sent, and that's where everything is kind of causing the issue. So if you can see like Java object stream invoked read object. It is trying to read serial data, ordinary object, read object, or like it's telling you like where everything is kind of failing. So that's basically the deserialization bug. Uh, I wanted to add something on top of this. That is, um, how do I fix it? Like it's it's cool to exploit and things, but how do I actually fix the bug? How do we patch the bug though? That is the main question that I want to solve. Like as a security engineer, like finding the bug is good, but at the end of the day, you need to patch it, right? Okay, so this is not a good solution per se. Like you need to do further checks here because I'm just doing only one level of check. That is, If not event, which is instance of a logging event, logo should warn that, hey, I'm getting an object type that is not even not even part of my logging event. So as you see, we are reading the object event, and if the event is not part of the logging event, I'm just saying, hey, want the person even get, and this is not part of my thing at all. Trying to get some details. I think this could cause other set of issues, um, but yeah, a simple warning at least to the person who's using it. I didn't thought about what a really good fix is. I might have to think about it. But I think this can do for now, I guess. This can do for now, maybe. If I run this thing again, I think it will fail, but not the program itself. I'm saying some of my environments got changed while recording the video. So that's kind of a simple fix that could be done uh, in many of the environments where you cannot do full patching. You could do some things where the bug is, so that you can mitigate it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you all have a great day ahead and happy new year again. Bye bye.